Hi, folks. I wanted to talk you through a little bit of the way you're going to do the editing in Premiere for the audio editing assignment. Remember that Premiere is generally a video editor, but it has a reasonably good audio editor in it. You're welcome to use other audio editors, Pro Tools, Audition, Audacity, whatever you want to use for this GarageBand. But the using Premiere Pro for this assignment will get you familiar with Premiere Pro for the video assignments that are upcoming. So it's useful to go ahead and practice using Premiere on this audio assignment. Anyway. Before I create a new project and get started on this, I want to make sure that everything I need is in a folder. I've got a folder in Music called Audio Edit. And I have some sound effects in here. I have a little bit of recorded narration. I have some music that I might want to use. And if I go out online, if I want to get other music, I can go to the assignment itself, and down at the bottom you'll see it's you've got to use copyright-free music. Royalty-free music is good. There are other Creative Commons sources. I'm going to go to royalty-free music right here and get some music to use. I think I'm just going to choose some silent film music, and let's see what Fun in a Bottle sounds like. Okay, I like Fun in a Bottle, let's say, and so I go and I download that, and that's going to come to my downloads area here, and if I want to see where that is, there's Fun in a Bottle, and I can move it, sorry it's off the screen, I'll get it for you, here it is. I can move it then into the music folder area and into the audio edit folder, so it's in with everything else. I do this before I start editing in Premiere so I don't get confused about what's where. So I get everything into a folder, and then in Premiere, when I go to do a new project, I say, okay, I want this new project, I'll call it Audio Edit, and I'm going to put it inside that same folder. This is now the recipe, remember? This is the recipe for there's my audio edit folder, for my project, for the meal I'm cooking out of these raw materials. And I'm going to choose that folder. So it's going to go in there. It's going to be called Audio Edit. And then I get my Premiere screen, and I'm ready to import some raw materials in and begin creating my my audio edit. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to import, and I'll get all of the audio files in here. So I'll get those three, and I don't need the recipe, and I don't need these preview files to be imported because they're already part of this project. I just need these different files, and I'm going to go ahead and import them, and then they're going to come in over here so I can listen to say considering this is my narration that I have, and I can
Last year I created a game.
So I can listen to that, I can set in and out points and bring them down into a sequence. Unfortunately, there's no sequence here, there's timeline, no sequence. So in order to get started, I need to go File, I'm sorry, I can do File, New, Sequence, like that. And then I don't have to worry about the settings here. I'm just going to say OK. And now my sequence is ready to go to have things added to it. So here's my my audio piece. I'm gonna use this from here. Endpoint, I for endpoint.
Last year I created a game that consists of a few hundred cards, each of which has on it something to include in a story.
Well, that's a good out point. I hit the space bar to stop it. I could have hit O for on the fly and it would have still put in an out point. But now I've got an in point and an out point in that little light green region and gray green region. And I'm going to drag that audio down here. And that's going to be where I put my main audio track. I'm going to do that there. And so now if I'm down in this here, I can listen to it.
Last year I created a game.
Okay, now it would be really useful if I could see the audio waveform like I can up here, down here, so I could see where I am at lining things up. And one of the ways you can do that is by expanding this track. And for that matter, you know, it's it's really not that big a deal if I were to actually look at this thing full screen. So, I can move this up so I can see only the audio. And I can also see this whole thing that's in orange full screen by hitting the tilde key, which is above the tab on the left-hand side of the keyboard. And that shows me whatever area I'm in the full screen. So that shows me the whole sequence, and then I hit it again and it comes back. If I had this highlighted, it would show me all of that. Hit it and it would come back. I could see full screen whatever it is that I'm working on. But for right now, just seeing these various audio tracks is probably enough, and leaving it down here is good. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, under sequence, I'm going to add a couple more tracks, just because I might need some more tracks than just the 3 that are there. I'm going to add say, I'll add 3 more tracks. I'll type in 3. You can also just drag to the right after audio 3. So now I've got 6 audio tracks here, and you can see that I go down through A6, and that gives me plenty of room to begin adding things. So I've got my main narration there, and I'm going to add one more piece here, so let's listen to some more of this.
And the game goes like this. You choose 2 or 3 cards, and you have to include the following things in your story.
Now, that's a little bit, it's okay, but it's a little wordy, and maybe I just want to jump right in to what these cards say. So I'm going to, not going to use that. I'm going to set an in point now,
Here are some chosen at random. A sandwich with a steering wheel.
Oh, I kind of like that, a sandwich with a steering wheel. Okay, so I hit O for out, and now I can bring that down here, and I can put it on this track, and I can listen to what that sounds like.
Each of which has on it something to include in a story.
Okay, now there's silence.
Here are some chosen at random.
Yeah, that would be good, but I probably need to snug that up, and so I can actually drag that over. Now, see the red arrow there? That's gonna allow me to shorten or lengthen that clip and go into other parts that I might not have, like get other sections of this. But you know what I really want to do is actually just drag the whole thing with my arrow. It's hard to get my arrow right in the right place because it's all squinched down here. So I'm going to zoom in. You can zoom in using your zoom tool, or you can just hit the backslash key, which is above the return on the right, and it will fill the frame with whatever I have down here. And I'm just going to now snug that over. So now it sounds like this. I get
in a story. Here are some chosen at random. A sandwich with a steering wheel.
Okay, I kind of like that one, but now I don't like the next one, okay, up here. So if I click up here and I play the next one, I come in here.
A jeweler who also sells meatballs.
I don't really want a jeweler who also sells meatballs, but I want the one after that.
A doctor with a lawyer in his mustache.
Okay, I kind of like that, so I'm going to do out for that. And I'm going to now drag that down here. And so you see how I could edit an interview and take out parts, only use parts of it. Bring things together, for instance, if I needed to.
Steering wheel. A doctor.
But you know, I don't really like that chicka 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 of me messing with the cards right in here. So I could come in here with the razor blade, and I could just trim out that. I see I put a line there, which means I cut it there. So now when I come back to the arrow, I can actually delete that and slide this over. Now there are some other easier tricks for making things slide over, but I'm doing everything manually right now just to show you how everything works in the simplest way.
A sandwich with a steering wheel. A doctor with a lawyer in his mustache.
Right, and then I think I've got some more down here at the end here. So let's see what I want to add in here.
Here's another one. 2 neighbors.
Here we go.
Or maybe here's another one.
In point.
2 neighbors buttering their lawns. The story gets increasingly complicated.
Okay, I like that. And I'm going to drag that down and put it at the end. 2 neighbors buttering their lawn. And so you can start to see how you'd build.
two neighbors buttering their lawn.
Narration here. And now I might decide that I want to add in some of these again and overlap them, and I could do that on other tracks. So if I grab this guy, if I highlight one of these, so if I highlight one like that and Command C or Control C on a PC, and then I decide that I want to paste it, okay, I can drag that wherever I want it to go, and then I would have I could have like an echo effect of that one.
Steering wheel. A doctor with a lawyer in his mustache. A doctor with a lawyer in his mustache buttering their lawns.
And you can see how you could begin to build an audio edit. Now, a couple of tricks. One, if you want to turn snapping off, snapping allows this thing to snap to an edit. It's easy to drag it so it snaps to the end point of something. If you want to turn that off so you can nudge things just a little bit, you need to make sure that, see right there, snap, I click and it will be not dark anymore, unselected. And then I can drag this, even micromanage it right there, and I will be able to get it anywhere without it snapping. Otherwise, if snapping is on, if I try to get it close but not snapping right in there, it will, not lined up, it will automatically snap to the end. And so that can be frustrating. So you can turn snapping on and off if you need to. That's a little trick. The other thing you can do is make sure that you expand tracks so that you can see the waveform, but this also gives you some other possibilities, like raising and lowering the volume. This is the volume tab. Okay, see the decibels? So I'm turning it down from where it was or up from where it was, and that's going to be helpful in a moment. Okay, I'm not going to go too much farther right here because I don't want this video to be insanely long, but I do want to show you how you would add, for instance, a sound effect. So if I wanted this sound effect of the snow crunching underneath the whole thing, I could again set an in point and an out point. So I could drag this playhead there, I for in, and I could decide how much of it I want, or I could get the entire thing for right now. And I could just drag that audio down into a free track just so it doesn't cover over anything else. And now it will be under the whole thing.
Last year, I created a game that consists of...
But it's way too loud, so I can now expand this so I can see the audio waveform. And I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to figure out how to turn this whole thing down just by dragging on that line, and that turns the volume down. And now...
Last year, I created a game.
Not quite so loud. Now, if I wanted it to fade all the way out after the word game, I could come in here with the pen tool and click on the audio level line. And I could turn it down all the way so it would fade out. So listen.
Last year, I created a game
and here
that consists of a few hundred cards, each of which has on it something to include in a story.
Now, if I wanted it to come back up at some point, again, I could put the pen tool, and I could turn that volume up at any point I wanted to. I'm going to make it ridiculously loud in a minute. Here, so I'll go from 0 all the way up to ridiculously loud.
Something to include in a story. Here are some chosen at random. A sandwich with a...
So you hear how it got really loud there because I turned it up. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but I just wanted you to see how I could turn it up. I can also adjust these and move them around where I want them to be. Remember, that's using the pen tool. And finally, the last thing I'm going to show you right now is how to add some music. So remember, I had Fun in a Bottle, which was the... So let's say I wanted that to come in here at the end of my track. I could use my arrow and drag the whole thing down here, the end. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see what's going on. And now I'm going to fade that music in using the pen tool. And again, I was talking about that full screen option where you hit the tilde key up above the tab. So if I click in here and then hit the tilde key, I'll see all of this. And sometimes it makes it easier to work on things and make everything a little bit bigger. And what I want to be able to do now is put the you'll see I've got all these options of things that I can do in terms of the audio gain and so on. But what I really want to be able to do is put some pen marks in here. And let me go back. I'll show you the pen. Here's the toolbar, and I could have had that hovering over, but I'm going to go ahead and put some pen marks in. Okay, and then we'll zoom in again. So now I can go from 0 and fade that in. So you'll hear how that works. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and bring down my snow chomping a little bit so that it's not in our way.
Steering wheel. A doctor with a lawyer and his mustache. Two neighbors buttering their lawns. The story gets increasingly. A doctor with a lawyer and his mustache.
And so on, and you hear the music begin to rise. That's the basic way that you will edit. You'll be combining, dragging down in and out points, adding things to tracks, maybe occasionally using the razor tool, selecting things with the selection tool to delete them, and then expanding the tracks and using the pen tool to raise and lower elements. Now, I've already talked through in a previous video about how to make effects on given sounds and so on, so I'm not going to go into that here, but the next video that I make for this will be how to export this and then get it onto your web page. All right, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you.